Go ahead and open up your site plan is where we're going to be at. In Revit, yes. I got used to not having a mask on all Christmas. This is kind of weird again. It's all moist. It's a fun word to say, moist. Okay, so if you remember last we were here, we put on the topo surface and I had to take it off again, mainly because it was just making things difficult in your 3D environments. It was larger than your site, and we're going to reduce that down a little bit. So I'm going to redo the topo surface. In my site plan, just so you're aware, let me bring some things back. One is the roof. I'm going to unhide that real quick. And that's really all I want there. So when you get your site plan, you will have your roof plan on there. When we go to put the topo surface on, we're going to want to hide the roof so we get the topo, the ground cover right up near the building. Now, it's a little tricky to do through the roof. So the first thing we're going to do here is just go ahead and select a roof element, do right click, hide in view, and do the entire category of roof. So if you do the category, then you get everything that's a roof doesn't go away. Makes it really quick and simple to do that. And next week I'll be posting, those of you who do college credit, your grades will be posted next week for college. So probably Thursday afternoon. It's kind of plan. All right, so now I'm here. I have my property line where I can see it. The setbacks I've hidden, you should still see your setbacks. But we don't need to do anything with the setbacks at this point. They need to stay on your drawing, so don't remove them. But when I put the topo surface on, I've got a rounded driveway here because my doors are on the side on this house. So the driveway comes in, notice the driveway sticks out in front of my property line just a little bit. If it doesn't, don't worry about that. We'll make some modifications here to that. We're also going to put in the sidewalk and a curb and gutter system in front here to finish off our site plan. And this happens to be a corner lot, so we actually have to turn the corner for that to happen. So this is lots 1 and 2, if I remember right. All right, so when we do the topo, I'm going to do it in chunks. And one is to help keep it out of my basement, so I don't have to go through and do a new pad again. But it does make it a little easier for me to kind of close that off. So we're going to do topo surface. And I'm going to actually start by placing points. I'm going to start at the corner. I'm going to go around. I'm going to try and choose where I want to cut this off. Probably start right here on my front. Now you want to pick on your plan where it makes the most sense that you can divide and conquer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the building, all the way up around here to this side. Then they come in, I'll do this little grass piece in here separate, okay? So I'm going to start right here where the stair and the sidewalk are. And I'm going to just start to go around the perimeter of the building. So just hit the corners and work my way around there as I move around. And I might have a couple of dots. And if you notice, it's placing that wonderfully, my dirt is now going inside my driveway here. I'm so excited about that. So this can come down, it's going through the house. So I haven't really saved myself any issues here yet at all, actually. When I get to this point, I'm just going to jump across and then go back the other direction. So I'm taking it back out to the property lines. And then it's going to disappear, okay? Now, when you're doing this, this now makes it almost impossible to finish what you're doing because you've now cut across and it blocks out things. And so as you're doing these, the reason I did it this way is so you could see this. I've lost where my back patio is. I now have grass inside my basement again. Yay. So there's a couple things we can do on this. I'm just going to do a Control-Z and undo this. Take that back to the beginning. So yeah, we're trying to get back in the mode here just a little bit. So When we did this before, we just did the 4 points of our property, right? And then we had to do, what was the thing we did to get the dirt out of the basement? Remember what that was? The pad, right? So if we go back through and do that same process again, would that be easier or more work to do it that way or not that way? Which do you think would be easier for you to do? Remember doing the pad? Was that easy to do or difficult to do? Wow, we read before. See, this is why we didn't do any homework over Christmas, because you guys don't do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this exact same way we did it before. I'm just going to do the 4 corners of the property. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now at that point, everything wipes away and disappears. Okay, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and check that off and say, yep, that's what I've done. I've lost my driveway. I've lost my sidewalk. I've lost my front stair. I've lost my back patio. All that's just gone. I still see the walls of my house. That's a plus. So I'm going to go ahead and do the building pad next while I'm here. Now the building pad level is first floor. I'm going to change that to finished grade. So I'm doing building pad and changing the level to finished grade. Okay. Now I'm just going to pick all the corners of my house. And you don't have to start at the front. You can start anywhere you want on this. So if I start here, and where's my points going? So I want to pick my walls and go around the perimeter. And you want to make sure the magenta line is on the outside of your wall. That'll make things go really slick for you. You include the garage in this. Now there are some firms that do not, and that's fine. Cut back up here.
Is there a way to fix, I am going to click building pad and it's not letting me select it?
Have you checked off the topo surface?
I think so.
Are you in the site plan?
Yeah.
Okay, let me fix this real quick here, because you can't
Okay.
put corner trims on there. It's so when you're in the, let me check that off. So when you're in the managing site, it's just grade. Is that what's
Yeah.
happening? Okay, most likely if you click on the modify the tab there again, there's an element active, and I have one active right now. Right here, it's got an air out, and so most likely that's what's happened on your topo surface. You've inverted it somewhere. You may have backed up a little bit and twisted it. So look and see if you see anything in orange. That's gonna be your big clue there. So what I have to do on this now is go into modify, because I messed mine up. And I'm not in there anymore, so I'm so glad I did that. I really messed it up. Huh. Yay. So I went so far, I screwed mine up. Isn't that nice of me to do that for you? Yay, teacher screwed up. And I back up and undo some things. I don't know if it's gonna let me. Wow, thanks, Nick. I went to help you and screwed myself over. So glad I did that. In fact, I've locked up. Good. Okay. Yay, teacher. Okay, so I am completely dead and so happy. I think we're connected, Nick. I think your mess matched to my mess. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I think I'm not even where I want to be. Welcome to Mondays. Okay, let's see if I can get out. Okay, I am gonna have to kill myself here. Sorry. Killing my drawing, basically. Okay, well, that was fun. Thanks, Nick. Did you get yours to work while I'm rebooting?
No, I'm trying to fix mine right now. It showed up for a second and then it disappeared again.
Okay.
So I'm just messing with it.
Yeah, that's kind of what you have to kind of do at that point, and just kind of watch a little bit. So I'm back to the beginning. Here we go. Again, I'm going to hide my roof lines And I'm also going to hide all my framing that's in this area. Wow, that's a mess. Okay. So here's my site plan. It's a little messier. It's not cleaned up like it was when you guys come in, but that's okay. So here we go again. Mass site, topo surface, picking the 4 corners of my property. And these will be floating right now. This is going to be up in the air. So I just have to check that off. I'm not going to worry about that. It's going to have a dark line over my property line. So that's how I know it's in place. If I went into 3D, we'd see dirt because I have not made it into grass yet. So there it is in all its beautiful glory. What I want to do is put this building together. So my views are all messed up. So I'm going to now do the building pad. Building pad works on picking walls. So I'm going to go around the perimeter, and I got to pay attention to what I do this time and not jump to solve a problem. So this one here is already aired out. So we're going to, wow. You guys have problems with your stuff in class? Okay. I just locked up again. That is not going to be good. Wow, this is going to be a great recording. I've got all kinds of fun happening today. Well, it's fun. I'll do it again here, guys. This is so fun watching teacher mess up. Definitely is not a good way to start the year back, but that's okay. We'll be good. Lots of practice here now, right? Okay, again, I'm going to hide the roof. This should be my first thing. I'm going to hide my framing just because it's busy work and I don't see it. Mass and site, topo surface. Picking my, yes, sir.
I was here with the site plan and you told me I should worry about it for later.
Yeah, we're at later now, aren't we? Well, okay. Oh, Hades. Okay. Got recovered from staying up all night in New Year's. So we get this to work this time. All right, on the topo. One more time. Boom. Boom. Now check that off. Now, again, it's going through my house. If I go to my elevations, specifically my south elevation, because that's my front of my house, and let's see this gray dirt line. And notice it's way above your finished grade. Okay. Sits up there. It's basically on the first level, your first floor. In order to move that, we have to select the top edge of it. It should all highlight blue. And then you then do a move command. Pick a point on the top edge of your topo surface. And you need to move that down to your finished grade line. Now, hopefully you made your sidewalks above that by 2 inches. Okay, so just pull that down so it's not going up above your finished grade, because that's what we're drawing is the finished grade of the house. When we go back to the side plan, it's still there. It's just moved down out of our view. Okay, so you won't see the solid lines anymore. Now I'm going to put in this. House inside again, building pad. We're going to try it one more time here. Hopefully things work out well. We want walls that go along the full length. You're using your main floor line. Again, I'm starting at a different point this time to see if I can get this to cooperate. Because it's been a rough morning already. And I want to turn the corner here, but I've also got this porch that's going in here. So I'm going to do a little, grab that wall and then this edge. And before I go any further, I'm going to fix that because that's what caused my problem last time. So I'm just going to fix that area. Go back to my wall select, go there. And again, these need to be as long of a stretch of line. You don't want broken up pieces because that causes us grief. And out to the edge here. And then we go check every intersection, make sure everything's connected. So all the corners come together. And then this needs to be also on your finished grade. That's your pad, your building pad. And when you check that off, you won't see anything happen on your screen, but it takes the dirt out of your basement. Okay. So now I'm going to go from there to our 3D view. Nick, is yours working again?
Yeah, it started working.
Okay. So I guess we leave them sitting for a while. Okay, so now when I go into my 3D, my driveways, when I place these, they're on the finished grade as well, but they are 2 inches up. They have an offset of 2 inches for lots of reasons, okay? When I was in architectural school, one of the things that we were told, because at that point, ecology was just becoming a big trend in architecture. How do we save water in a desert state? We are the second driest state in the nation, only slightly wetter than Nevada. When we look at homes watering their lawns, most of that water ends up on concrete, which means it just evaporates off. It's not being used at all for what we need it to. The recommendation, and that still kind of holds true, is that when we put in a new yard, meaning grass, we should put that down so it's at the bottom, the grass itself is below the level of your driveway. So that puts it down about 8 inches. So there's an 8-inch lowering where you're going to put your sod. What happens is the sod grows and you cut it and you mow it, it builds up thatch, and that thatch eventually gets composted down back into soil, and the level will rise up to where it's flush with the driveway. But it creates a bowl so that all the water that's on your lawn stays on your lawn and doesn't just roll down. Okay? But that's what that is. So let's do a modify and turn this into grass. So I'm going to change my material, get my little ellipse dots. Find grass, and there should be one in there because we've used it before. Let it load, and the network's already a little slow this morning, so I do apologize for that. And I have no grass. What the heck? Looks like I've lost my network. That's not good. Well, this is just going to be a fun day, isn't it? Is your grass still there for you guys? No.
My grass isn't showing up. I scrolled through the different materials and it's not in there either.
What the heck happened to grass? I wonder if Autodesk is having some, I don't want to take the time to look, but So how do we fix it? If we can't find our grass in our library, what do we then do? Make a new one. Exactly. We don't have to take and try and troubleshoot anything. We then go make a new one. So I'm just going to put a picture of grass, and you have to be kind of careful with the grass searches now. Okay, so we're looking for a grass picture that's as straight down on the grass as you can find. That looks pretty good. Top view of grass. It's a nice deep green. I'm going to save that image. It's going to go into a directory. We'll put it right here for right now. So you save it into your file. I'm going to call it grass, so I know what it is. So just, you find a picture on the internet, right click, save image as. Right. And then I'm going to make a new material. That's this little circle with the plus. New material, right click, rename it, grass. Go to appearance, click where it says no image selected, and go and pick your picture of your grass. Wow, this is gonna be a fun day, guys. I'm so excited for it. Yeah. Huh. Oh, let's do it again. Cradola. Did I spell grass glass again? Probably. Oh well. Image. Image for it. For some reason, images are not saving for me, and I'm not sure why. It's not saving. That's weird. You guys get your image to save. Getting these weird files. So if you didn't know, Adobe Flash was discontinued on the 31st. And I think we're running into some issues with images that were made for that. At least that's what I'm thinking. Because It's not, there it is. Got one. Apply, hit OK. Okay, now I got a really funky green. It'll work. At least it's grass. Okay, so we got grass down. I got my driveways shown. I need to go and add a little bit more to them. So I go back to my site plan and I'll work down on the front and the side of my lot. So everything inside the property line, you guys can do what you want there. You can have whatever sidewalks you want. If you want to do a special parking lot, you can do that too. But once we get here, we do have to put in a plant strip, and we have to put in a sidewalk, and we have to put in a curb and gutter. Now, each city does these just a little differently. They're done with lines, so I'm going to go back to my architectural tab for right now. And I'm going to use my model lines. This is what I'm going to use here. Okay, so you never really do own most of the property that's around your house. So your property line starts, but there's a 1 foot barrier between your property line and what the city or the county owns. They do that intentionally because things shift and people make mistakes, and the government doesn't ever want the mistake to be theirs because they get sued for a lot of money. So I need to offset my property line is what I'm going to start with here. So I'm going to go into my modified and then do an offset just because it's quicker of 1 foot. And then make sure it's on copy. And then I take my property line, if it'll let me select, it's not letting me select it. Fine, we'll just draw the thing. I want to draw 1 foot in front of this line. So just come down and parallel that line out. One thing you can do that makes this a little easier, I should probably have you do it this way, is if you trace over the line, and so it's lined up with it, and just kind of, because it's at an angle, it's a weird angle line. If you come straight across to it, notice I am not on that line at all. I'm quite a bit off of it actually. Don't let that be, that's okay for what we're doing because we're doing what the city does. And that city, they'll do it before your house goes. So this is all done before your house gets built. So just bring the line over so it's kind of running along there. And then you then take, and in your modify box, you use your dimension, and you put a dimension from that endpoint to that endpoint. And you're going to modify that so that it's 12 inches or 1 foot, whichever way you want to go with that. Okay, that means it's closer here than it is over here, and that's okay. Okay, because the street again is going to be done by the city. Then they go across the left side as well, same process. Just going to take a line, so architecture and a line, and I'm going to kind of eyeball a little bit off here, just a little bit, and run that one up. That one's pretty much a straight line. And again, that one needs to be also dimensioned. So it's 1 foot. Endpoint, modify, change it to 1. And that's what you need. Then those two lines, you can use your corner tool and connect them together. Once you get them connected together, you can delete those dimensions. Those dimensions are just there to get it where you need it. Okay, that's our starting point. So go ahead and get that part put together. Now, when we have that 1 foot, again, that does vary a little bit once you survey. So if you're buying an existing house, you go survey it, there's usually a brass nail in the concrete that shows where your property lines are. Or if it's not in your concrete, there'll be a brass, well, it's kind of almost like a railroad spike in the corners of the lawn where that's at. Occasionally those get stolen because they are brass and they're worth money. And so you have to have your property resurveyed. So this outer line does get a little fudgy I mean, it's up to debate a little bit. Okay, now the next thing we're looking at then is from the 1 foot off our property line. The next thing we put in is the sidewalk. Now, most of the cities have gone to a 4 foot sidewalk now. Okay, so that they're at that point where they kind of know. And why not a 3 foot sidewalk? Yeah, you want people to walk side by side. If you're in older neighborhoods, they are 3 foot sidewalks. And if a guy's on a bike or skateboard, you kind of have to get off the sidewalk because they run you over. And that's never any good on there. So we don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do next is we're doing an offset, and we're going to do it at 4 foot. So offset, 4 feet, and you go out away from your building 4 feet. Now, that means that all of this in here needs to be done with concrete. So we're just blocking out lines right now. That's why the line type is what your easements are. It's the last line type we used. I'm going to change that. You okay, Matthew?
So you just kind of like eyeball it on.
Eyeball it off and make it about a foot off the property line approximately, and then go 4 feet after that. Okay. Okay, now next step then. So this will be all concrete. You can spend the time to go in and put all of the control joints. So when you're going down a sidewalk, there's a little split in the concrete every so often, usually about every 4 feet. Those are called control joints. It's so when the concrete cracks, it cracks in the crack. You make a crack for cracks. They're usually done in 4 foot by 4 foot panels. This is also a negative for concrete. When it gets hot in Utah, that sidewalk can buckle and they'll pop up. And then you hope that in the winter when it cools off, they go back down. Usually they need some help to go back down. So buckled concrete sidewalks are pretty common. The way to fix that is to wire them all together. Then if you have to change that sidewalk, you have to cut the wire and repair it. So that gets kind of bad. So we're going to do another offset though before we put our concrete in here. The next offset is for a plant strip. Plant strips are required. What a plant strip's for is drunk drivers. They make our neighborhood look pretty, but their primary reason is to stop drunk drivers. So they can be bermed, and a berm means they're done as a hill. So we could take and do just a berm that comes up and over. And usually that's about anywhere from 2 to 3 feet tall. So when a car hits it, it stops the car. You'll see that a lot in high density housing areas. Then we would plant a tree in there, make it all pretty, or it could just be flat. That's not flat with a tree. Okay, your trees, when you plant them, they have to be a 2-inch caliper tree. What that means is the trunk of the tree has to be 2 inches in diameter minimum. That gives the tree a more likelihood of surviving. If you buy just these little ones that are like a 1/2 inch in diameter, they tend to die. They don't have enough root to get them sustained. So they do require that the trees here are set for 2-inch diameter. They want trees that grow very fast. So we do a lot of cypress trees here in Utah. Those are the ones that have the fuzzy little chestnut ball things. They're all fun. They grow very, very big and very, very quickly. That's the main criteria they want. They want these trees to grow fast and strong. Okay. So the idea is that when a car comes down along the road and they veer off, they'll hit the tree before they hit your house. And that's what they're for. Okay. So the plant strip is a 5 foot area. So we put a 5 foot offset, and we then go ahead and offset those lines out again. And now we're ready. Now we're at the curb and gutter. Okay. So at this point, this is kind of where we're going to stop our work, is here for what we're doing to get things done. Do you have a question? You keeping up?
If
You good with, okay, just don't want to get you behind. So now I need to put in some features, okay? So first I'm gonna put my sidewalk in. I'm then going to do architecture, I'm gonna do my floor. And they do my 4-inch slab. It's around the, needs to be on the finished grade, and it needs an offset up of 2 inches. So finished grade, offset height 2 inches, 4-inch concrete slab. And I'm gonna put in the sidewalk. And I'm gonna do it with just drawing lines. So they just cut across here, tracing over the lines that I've offset to put in this sidewalk area. Along here, drop it down. And ultimately this does go around the whole neighborhood, but we're only doing what's adjacent to our property. So just those 2 areas there, check that off. And it's just say, hey, what about me? Okay, well, they overlap, and that's true. You can do a couple of things here. One, I'm just gonna edit this one so that I don't have this overlap anymore. Just bring it, pull that up a little bit. Makes it a little quick. It's a little easier if you keep them separate because you don't want to always show the street. Yes, sir. Sure. Okay, where we at? Then concrete. So go to floor, and that's 4-inch slab, and it's gonna be on your finish grade, and it's gonna be up 2 inches. And then just use your line, and then trace here. And then it comes down here. Over here, comes down here. And you do the same thing for your driveway. You bring your driveway out to the side. Okay, so now you do the same thing, you draw a driveway. Okay? Yep, same settings. You got those sidewalks? Dude, you've had a whole 2 weeks to sleep. You got the longest Christmas break of your entire generation. Okay, now the next part of this, so that's where my driveway comes through. The driveway actually goes out further, okay? So I'm gonna bring another slab on there just so I do this correctly for you. It's another floor. I'm just gonna use a rectangle. Now line it up with my driveway on the other side of the sidewalk. Line that side up and then pull it forward. Okay, because I don't want the trees, my car's got to drive through, right? So I just have that driveway come through the sidewalk. Okay. Now the next part is to put in another topo surface. And I have to do this in 2 pieces. Well, I don't have to because I'm going down, move it down lower. Now, this one we move down to finished grade. Remember, when we draw these topo surfaces, they go to the first floor always. So we have to be able to move it down. Okay. So do you want me to do it 1 shot or 2 shots? How fast do you want to get things done today? So many opinions. Wow. And yet you guys are all over TikTok. Y'all have an opinion what you like on there. Okay, here we go. Massing in sight, topo surface. Now use the pick points again. And I'm going from the sidewalk out and picking that down. And I'm gonna go all the way to the end. I'm just gonna do it 1 shot instead of 2. Cut across, cut back, and then close it. Why did it not do what I told it to do? I didn't do it right. So we're gonna do it in 3 shots. Happy day. Aren't you guys glad? Okay, it's gonna come down here, cut across to here. Check that one off. So there's one, do another one. Start this corner, go back up, go to the driveway and down. I missed that one, dang it. Close enough. I'm gonna fix it. Add a surface, move. There. Check that one off. So that's 2. And now I do 3. Placing the points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. And that one's off again too. Dang it. And close this one up. And it's kind of bad. You guys come back for 3 days. Okay. So there's my topos all set. Now, when I go into my 3D mode, so you can see where the lawn's at, you can see where the brown is. That's going to be the one I just did. It's up high. And I go and put grass onto those now so they stand out. Maybe if I can get these to. There you go, south elevation, drop this thing down first because it's ticking me off a little bit. So I've got to find where that, and this is where it gets a little tricky. This is why I was trying to avoid is that topo stuff she just did. If I go back in the site plan, my elevation, well, I have to go first floor maybe. Yeah, let's go first floor. Okay, so then jump around here really quick. So stay with me, don't get lost. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the first floor plan here, just so you can see what's happening. See this little marker right here? These are the elevation markers. The topo I just put down is behind those. It doesn't show my elevations. So the fix to get to where you can adjust, Matthew, it's okay. I'm just going to move this camera down so I can see my topo. So I'm going to do a modify tab here, then do the move. We're just in a window, that little camera guy there. I just picked my sidewalk too. How nice. And move. Just to drag it down so it's on the outside of where my new topo is. Oh my gosh. Wow, things are weird today. I should have stayed home, huh? Okay, now when I do this and go back to the south elevation, because I moved that camera, now I can see where that topo is, because it's up. Where the freak is that? It's over here. There's my topo. This is actually my floor slab. It's on the wrong area. Put that back where it's supposed to go. Try and see what we can find where that's at. So just kind of look for it. Change your section view to the other side. Again, same thing again. We have to go back in here and move your camera guy. Just so it's on the outside. So you're looking in. This is the west side. And I'm looking for that topo mark. There's the sidewalk. It might be where it's supposed to be. I'm not seeing it showing here. It's 3D it. Now, when I go into 3D and I go to pick this, why am I not able to pick that soil? What's happening? That's floating up here so high. What's going on there? This guy right here, this line here. Hopefully. It's not. Why can't I pick on my topo? What's happening to it? It's right here. It's this brown dirt stuff. Why am I not able to pick onto it like that? That's what I want to do is pick it. Why am I not able to do that? What's happening to it? Any ideas? Because I want this to be grass. So it matches. Okay, any ideas of why I cannot pick my topo surface? None? Okay, remember we have it bounded by regular lines, architecturally drawn lines. Those lines are what it's trying to pick instead of the topo surface. So when I'm in my site plan here, we did a bunch of offsets to get those lines into place, and then we put concrete and dirt. If I go through and select just a straight line and delete that out, and I do that systematically back towards the property line without deleting the property line, it makes it now so I can select that contour, that topo surface, and I can change the material. It keeps losing the image. I don't get what's going on. And it's not holding my settings, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So now that one's green. When I go to 3D, it's changed those I did with that exercise. Okay, they're still all floating out here. Everything's kind of floating around a little bit. Kind of float that around so you can see it. And it's a single teeny tiny line. Why does this topo not have the depth of the soil before? Why am I not seeing that anymore? What's happened to my drawing? What's changed? Any ideas? We put the pad in. Once we put the building pad in, everything else now levels out. So it's just a single line that when I go to the south view, it is right up here that I now have to move down to the finished grade line. It's a little tricky to see it. You have to really get in and look at where your elements are to move them. So you move it down and then you move over to the next and find, oh, there's still some brown dirt there. I need to adjust and pull this part down. So I can select it. It takes a little bit of work. I know you guys are like, oh, we're done. We don't want to do any more. Give us a break. You know. So the next 2 days will be all yours to get things ready. So then back to the south where you find the line, it'll be blue, very faintly hard to see blue. Let's see, this comes up over here, right there. There she blows. And I need to pull that down to where the finished grade is. And I check in 3D again, make sure I got it where I want it to be. So get that put down. Same thing on the side. It's just a single line element now. Once that pad goes in, things are a little trickier to work with. So I select it here. I didn't clean off those lines. You notice how difficult it is to select if there's lines there. So go back and clean up this side. Window one edge, take out the lines that are underneath it. Take out this side, clean up the lines underneath that. If it helps, you can also do the end cap pieces if they're still there. Then you can select it, go into the west side, look for that blue line, do a move, and bring it down. Bring it down to your finished grade level, okay? And you do have to take a little bit of time. Site work is probably the one that takes probably the most amount of work, but we need to get this all placed down because we're about to put some trees in and some little bushes. We're not going to go overboard with it because the whole point of what we're doing is to sell a house, not landscaping. There are landscaping classes you can take if you want to be a landscape architect. That is the only school we have for that in Utah is Utah State. It is a bachelor's degree, and every state, federal, or government building has to have a landscape architect do the site work. It cannot be done by an architect. So this is another work you have to do with somebody else. Okay, now everybody got some grass to put trees on? Okay, we're gonna put some trees in. So we go back to my site plan. Again, the purpose of what we're going to do is we're going to try and frame the house. We want to do that systematically. Your trouble is going to be you won't be able to see your topo on your site plan anymore. Once those lines go away, you don't know where your topo is. But I do know where my concrete is. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into my Masson site, and I'm going to go into site components. These are very specific site components. These are trees, okay? Now the trees that are in here are full height trees. So you might have a little bit of an issue with some of those. There are trees loaded in your template file already. So like blueberry elder, and there's some golden chain and some ficus and some honey locust, which are really yay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shorter tree. I'm going to get this 10-foot birch out of the library or out of the template for my planting strip. Okay. And the reason I want that short is I want my house to be above the trees. I don't want a big tall tree. I want to show shorter trees so I can see the house behind them. Okay. So I'm going to start with that one. And I'm going to come and place those in what would be the planting strip. Okay. So I know my sidewalk's here. I'm just going to come off the sidewalk a little bit and kind of eyeball them in, having an idea about where I want these. When you put these trees in the planting strip, there are rules, and they vary by each city and county. They can be anywhere from 10 to 15 feet apart. You won't find them more than that because the idea is to stop a car. So you don't want a car to be able to drive through them. Most of the time they'll be, most of the time I see them at 15 because trees need space. For instance, West Valley though, if you're out in that city, theirs are at 12 feet, which is kind of a compromised issue there. And you can't be right on the corner. Okay, so you've got to kind of balance things out just a little bit with how you place them. But just got to place them where your plant strip is. And so you have some trees there. And once you get them placed, you can go back in, you can work on spacing them. I find it's a little easier sometimes to do it after the fact once I get them in there. So I got these a little close together. Spread those out just a little bit. And then you can take a look in 3D and see what your trees look like. Oh, and those are way up in the air. They're all floating trees because they're all on the first floor. How nice of me. So I want to make sure I put those on the finished grade. And if you don't do it first, you have to go back and do it second. So it's kind of cool, kind of fun as you work your trees, getting back down to the ground. So make sure you get them on the finished grade. And can you do them all at once? Absolutely. Select a tree, hold your control key down, get each tree. So you get all of them. And now for some reason, those in the front look different. And I picked something else I had to cut out. And move that group down. Here and then back. So now we know we got to go on the finished grade. We won't go through that again. We'll make sure we do it right with the next trees. And I'm going to flip it around to the front view of my house because I want to see what it looks like for what my rendering will be for my cover sheet. So there is my beautiful little trees. They don't hide the house. They're there to complement the house. I want to be able to see the house, okay? So I want to make sure I can see the door. I want to see windows, that type of thing. Okay, once I get that fill, then I can start going a little more crazy with what's going on in my yard. Now, when we do an architectural rendering, which is what we're setting up, we don't want to put in everything the client wants because usually owners want lilacs on this corner and they want a screen hedge in this corner and they want little pretty flowers. And they get crazy with their landscape stuff. And it ends up, one, it fills your memory up really, really quick. And two, it's so much stuff that you can't see the house for the rendering. Renderings need to be minimalist. We don't put any of the neighbors' houses in it. It's just the house, the one house we're looking at. So what I'm going to do next, and then go back to my site plan, is I'm going to put some bushes in, so site components, and then go find some small little shrubberies. And I'm not seeing what I want. So I'm going to go to edit type, load, and we'll go down to lands. Oh, it's in the under site. Go to site and accessories. Oh wait, where's the trees at? Should be sites there. Planting. Sorry, it's under planting. Used to be plants, now it's planting. And I want just a shrub, just a little shrub. So I'm just gonna bring this guy in. And it's only it's not even 4 feet tall, but I just want a little shrub in. And these are gonna go in front of my house. So nice and pretty, like. So just a few of these. Typically when you do landscape, you want to do groupings of 3. That's kind of the rule of thumb for vegetation, unless you're doing a row of trees like an orchard. But you want to do things in groupings. It brings a little more energy, a little more, just gives you some more to look at, really. And it's kind of, don't put them in your house, but you can put them up next to your house. Kind of groups of 3. Same with trees. Boy, it's been a rough day. And maybe I'll put a few out here, just by the driveway a little bit. It's probably enough. And again, I stop because I can get carried away with this. It's kind of fun placing trees. They just kind of plop in there. And so just when I'm in there at night, didn't put them on the dang finished grade. Silly teacher. And made a mistake again. So now teacher has to fix. You don't want flying bushes.
I would want flying bushes.
Flying bushes would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool.
It would be kind of fun. Notice how these are drawn. Look at the image here before it renders out again. They're juxtaposed images. They're basically JPEGs that are put together and then rendered in between. That's why these take so much memory. Is these that are rendered out here, each of these little guys renders individually, each leaf. And they get really, really complex. You actually go into the tree and define how many leaves are on the tree. And we're not going to do that because 1, we're trying to get this thing done. 2, we'll crash our machines really quick. We don't want to do that either. So we just want to get a little bit of vegetation in there and put it on the right place because, you know, teacher says, don't do that again, and then he does it. So it's so great. And these guys put what they're supposed to be. Now you could put a few more on there. I would want some over here in this area here. It just depends on how you want to dress up your yard. If you want to put a big tree in, by all means, you're welcome to do a big swing tree if you want. That's kind of up to you. I'm in the shrubs now. Back down to trees, maybe a beech tree. And I'll place, not on the footing level, that'd be stupid, teacher. Finish grade level. I'll put a big tree there. And we'll put another one maybe over here. Okay, so now I've got some trees in there in the background for some shade. But you can keep adding to this until it gets to where you want it to be. Okay. Now, what we want to do is want to create the cover for your drawings. Okay, so that's kind of what we're getting to here. So I'm going to go to my front view. And actually, I probably want to do this in the south elevation is what I'm going to probably work this out. So that's what my house is starting to look like. I've got a few trees, some shrubs. It starts to look a little more done up, okay, a little more finished. If I go to my elevations, the trees don't look so great there. They're just whiteouts, okay? Now you can take this image and use this to create your cover. So we're gonna do a couple of renderings here now, okay? So this is where, if you remember before Christmas break, I asked you all to make sure you had an Autodesk account. You then want to use that. So to get to your account, up at the top, it should say sign in. You want to sign in to Autodesk 360, okay, for this next part. Now, if you don't have an account, you need to create one, okay? So if you didn't get that done beforehand, you need to do so now. Otherwise, why is this not connecting? Oh, my password just shut off. I gotta figure out why. All right, there we go. I got logged in there. So that's good. Okay, I'll give you a minute to get that all set up because it's kind of crucial. Otherwise, what we're about to do will take us 3 hours, and we don't want to do that. Yeah, Matthew?
So
On trees? Oh, yeah. Couple. Okay, so you trace some dots. Yep. Yeah, just pick a dot. Yeah, you just trace where you want the grass to go, and then go down the other side. Yeah, just do the strips. Okay. So again, on your elevations, then go on your printed drawings. Don't put a bunch of stuff in front of your walls. You gotta be able to see the walls, okay? So keep it kind of minimal. Keep your trees short type thing. If you're still typing in the information for Autodesk, so we'll give a minute here. Got some trees? What's that? Oh, you're still signing in? Okay. Make what? Okay, you have to go into the elevations. So that'll be your west elevation. It's on the side. Okay, we want to find that blue line. You gotta look really close to find where it's at. Did you move your cameras out? Okay. So it's gonna be probably right here. Right there, yep. Move it down to your finish grade, just drag it down. Oh, right there. Yep. Yep, it is. That's how it does. Yeah. Kind of crazy, huh? Today? Yeah, for what? We gotta make a bunch of phone calls to Weber State. Did you give it a phone number? Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, if it asks for your 2-level authenticity, that means it's in a text tube, a code number, and that's for security purposes. We're getting a little safer. It's kind of stupid, but we're getting there. Just do it with go to architecture floor and do a forged concrete slab on the finish grade, and then raise it 2 inches up. So yeah, my plan is that Wednesday and Monday are pretty much just you finishing your drawings and printing off sets. So you'll print a set to take home on paper, and you'll submit a set of PDFs for me. Okay. What's that? It is? Really? Let me go back and I just looked at that. I thought they whatever. Oh, it is. So I only have you guys this week then. Okay, we got to pick up the speed then. Okay, we'll make it somehow. Okay, we ready? We got logged into Autodesk? Okay. Now, what we can do is when you put your elevations in your sheet, so we talked about that before break, you can actually go in and you can render the elevation out. And that would be very usable. So you can put color on your sheets as well. The thing we typically don't want on our cover sheet is all the dimensioning stuff, okay? So we're gonna go into your first floor plan. So you can see everything you've been doing. We're gonna go in into our manage or modify. Nope, it's not. It's under view. Sorry, under the view tab is where we're gonna go. Now this is why we want the Autodesk account. You have a limited number of free renders on your Autodesk account. So you want to use them wisely because you can run out of them really quick. They give you credits based on how much you're using your account. Or you can pay for space because you're storing things on the cloud. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a rendering of our house. And we're going to do that by going into our 3D, not our 3D view, but in, yeah, I guess it's 3D view. We're going to go to 3D view and we're going to pick a camera. Okay. Now, cameras are a nightmare in CAD. Okay, so stay with me just a little bit as we do this. The first thing you're going to do is place where the camera is located. Then you're going to aim the camera to what you want it to show. Then you have to go and tweak the height of the camera and the tilt of the lens. And then you can change the width of it. So you're basically composing what would be an architectural rendering. And that'd be what on the back wall here, where we're trying to show off the building. So I'm gonna click on camera, and I typically put it on the sidewalk because that is where the client is gonna be when they see their house for the first time, that first impression. They're usually on the sidewalk. And they're usually by the driveway because they park the car there. So I try and put it what they'll recognize when they see it. It's kind of how I go with that. So I usually come close to the closer side of the driveway where the sidewalk is. I place my camera and I aim it towards the front door. Now, the further you go, the wider the angle is. That's kind of how that works. But I'm just gonna kind of go and I'm gonna target kind of where that front door is. And that's gonna give me a side angle. Now you get a look at it and say, wow, geez, I just don't know if I like that. Then if you don't, go back to your first floor and you can adjust that and change your angle. Then go back to your view. And so you can get different views at different times. Oh, you've got a long time, man. Okay, so you're trying to capture the view. Now remember, you can also change your crop size in here to get more of the angle. If you still don't like what you're looking at, you can go back and you can move the camera. So because you only get so many renders that are free on the cloud, you want to get the one that means the most to you. And again, now I've changed my camera. I have to adjust the size of what I'm seeing. And this camera is set pretty low right now. So I can make a wide angle lens out of it. And I might just go with that, okay? So once you get it to where you want it to be, we're gonna capture one, and we're gonna go into render it here in just a second. So go ahead and get your image the way you want it, because this doesn't go on the front page of your drawing set. So we went into the first floor, we placed a camera. If you click on that camera, you can kind of go in and edit the type a little bit. There's not a whole lot you can do with the camera. Shows you how far your angles. I'm shooting back 99 feet right now. Your eye elevation right now, this is for someone that's 5'6". So you can change the height. Give an extra 5 inches there. Raise that camera up. You can raise it up to the, usually want to try to stay with people's eye height. 5'6" is the average female height in the United States. The average male height is 5'11". It's gone up an inch in the last 10 years. Woohoo, yay. Thanks to people like William who shoot it up off the chart. And then when you make those adjustments to your camera heights under the eye elevation and the target elevation, check your view again, make sure it's still balanced for you, okay? Because we're not gonna do this. This is the day we gotta do it, okay? And how'd you guys get shorted? It's so bad, okay. And you wanna make sure that you don't cut off the wall or your roof line. So I'm gonna spin this out just a little bit more, okay? And I don't bring it down too far. You know, you can cut off some of your driveway and your sidewalks. You're framing a picture. You're just making a picture. Is what you're doing. Okay, you guys ready for the next step? This is where it gets to be kind of fun. Okay. Now this will be named View 2. It's underneath my 3D views. You can make these ahead of time. I mean, you can go back and look at them and change them, but you're just creating a new view. Okay, it's like a snapshot. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna go back into my view menu. And once I have it where I want, there's two render options. There's render, which renders it on your screen, which means you can't work on anything else while that's happening. Or there's render in the cloud. And that's why you have your Autodesk 360 account. If you render this on your computer, it's gonna take about 20 minutes to do this one. If you render cloud, it's gonna be about 5. And you can be working on something else while it's doing it. So I'm gonna click on render in cloud. And it's got some step-by-steps for you so you know not to panic. One is on the main screen to select the views and start rendering. Well, we're in the view that we want. That's what we've got that. Step 2 is you'll be told when it's done. It's gonna email you back, hey, your rendering's done. And step 3 is you can go into the rendered gallery and see what you've rendered, okay? So I usually leave that up each time because I get impatient and it reminds me just chill and wait for them to email you when it's done because I'll go and check like 13,000 times. So they continue. Now, when it goes in, it's going to start running the cloud. It's going to talk about what all our settings are. We haven't set any settings up for this. We're just going to get a pretty benign looking image, okay? It's gonna be a medium size, it's a still image. Okay, well that's great. It doesn't take any credits, that's good. So this is where you wanna watch right here in your credits. If it starts asking you for credits, then you've gotta be really careful because you have to earn those over time to get those credits, okay? So I'm gonna cancel this one right now, okay? We're just gonna cancel this out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a render on our computer and then finish it. So we're going to do render, this little teapot. This teapot's been around in Autodesk for a long, long time. It's actually a carryover from, what was it called? 3D Max. 3D Max is the software that's used to do Beauty and the Beast. It was bought out by Autodesk and they've kind of done bad things to it, but that's okay. All right, so when we click on the render, it's going to bring up our render settings box. It looks like this. Yes, sir. It's what? Oh, did it slap you? Okay. Okay. Put it into change your view to render seats. Oh, you're in the right spot. So on this, yeah, what you want to do here is going to crop. That's check. Yeah. Okay, we should leave it open. Turn it back, you miss a lot. Okay, now in this render box is where we set everything up. So we get what we want, okay? Now in draft setting, what you see on the screen is what you're gonna get. It's pretty pixely. So the first thing we do is we change out the draft setting and I usually just go with best, okay? Now, high will work for what we're doing because it's gonna be on a sheet of paper, it's not gonna be full scale. So let's just do high. That'll get us done a little bit quicker with what we're doing. It'll still look just as good. Right now, it's gonna be on the screen. You can set it directly to a printer, but then you don't know what you're gonna get until it prints out. That's a little scary for me. If we're on a printer, we only have 96 pixels being used per inch. We want it to be closer to probably 600, maybe 900 pixels per inch to get a little better quality. So we're going to adjust that as we go down here. Under our lighting, we have an exterior. This is our lighting. Right now, since our exterior, leave it as the sun. You don't have any other lights in there to do, so sun only. The sunset settings, these are kind of fun. So you have to hit these little 3 dots, ellipse dots again. What you can do on this is Revit will do, and we're not going to do that with you today, but you can on your software at home, or even next time if you want to play with it, you can do a solar study that runs through a single day or multiple days. So you can have it run through a full season to see what the shadows do on your house. If you're really getting into solar design, that's almost a requirement. You've got to know where the shade is on your house at different times of the year to make sure you're blocking the worst of it. So for us here in Utah, July to September are our hot months. That's when we want to block the most of that southern sun. That's a tricky one to block. We can't do anything about the western sun. That just keeps getting lower and lower. But we can try and block some of our other sun. We look at our ground plane. Here it's on my footing. Make sure you're not on the bottom. That's underneath your house. Okay, so my grade level needs to be my finished grade. You have to tell it that because it goes with the lowest level you've created. That's what determines the ground. So if you're doing crawl spaces and stuff like that, you've got to make sure you push that down to where it needs to be. The sunlight, you can tell from what direction it's coming from, which will determine what side of the street you're on. So right now it's in session lighting, but you can do from the top right, over your shoulder, or top left, depending on where you want those shadows to be. Because of where my house is oriented, I'm going to switch it to top left, because otherwise my front door is going to be completely in shadow, the way my house is. Let me slide that over a little bit so you can see what I mean. I can't move it on more. Because where my door is right here, it'll be all in shadow if I go from the other side. Okay, then here are some settings here. If you know your exact coordinates on the planet Earth, you can put that in here. There's an easier way to do that than this. So we'll look at that here in just a minute. So I'm just going to apply that and hit OK. Now, down in the background, I want to, there's options for your background. You can have a blue sky with no clouds. You have a few clouds, very few clouds, a cloudy day, a very cloudy day. Or if you're doing something for an like architecture school, if you go to U, never do a blue sky for the U. Don't ever, if you're doing a rendering for the U, your sky needs to be orange or purple or gray, but not a real color. Again, it's an architectural school. The emphasis is on the building, not nature. And most of the time, you'll do well if you make the leaves of your trees things like purple and gold, things that are not realistic colors. Okay, just kind of put that in the back of your head. Again, the emphasis on the building, not nature. That's not the focus of the school. And so you kind of want to watch that. I'm just going to go with cloudy day, kind of like that. Then there's the exposure adjustment settings. So if I click on the adjust exposure, this is completely trial and error. There is not a book on what your exposure should be. It is, you tweak it until you like what you've got. And this is where having a notebook so you can write down the settings so you remember them is really handy. And this is just 1 minute, a cardboard and a spiral. I mean, they don't have to be expensive books, but you should keep a book that has settings that you like so that you can get through things a little faster. It also helps you get bonused better, because if you work fast, you get better bonuses. Okay. So I'm going to darken my shadows just a little bit. These are percentages. So if it gets to 1, well, let's take it all the way over. It's a scale of 4 for the shadows. It's percentages of that base. It's kind of weird, but I usually go about somewhere between 75 and 80 on my shadows. I like them a little darker. That's just me. The rest of this, I'm just going to leave as it is. And then hit OK. Now, the next thing we want to do is we need to render this out. So while this is here, I'm going to go back to my render to cloud and continue. I'm going to go ahead and click render now. So I've done my setting tweaks here. I'm going to go ahead and render. So gather the scene data. and it's up and doing its thing. It's up and running. Somewhere up in the cloud, it's being rendered. Now you can, if I didn't have Zoom in the way here, you can go up and look at your status from time to time. I'm also going to render this one out here on the screen as well. So I'll compare the two. Maybe because I think this will go relatively quickly because it's just a single shot. And then I need to show you how to set your sheets out. Now I see one choice I made that I'm wishing I hadn't. I painted one of my fascia boards green. Shouldn't have done that. It stands out pretty bad. And I did not fix my wall here, which is another bad, but that's okay. The raccoons are living down here. Okay, so as that finishes out, you can see the clouds in the background, and I'm getting there a little bit as it finishes there. And it'll let you know when it's done. It's kind of a picky little bugger. My progress right now on this rendering, I'll pull it over here so you can see it, is I'm at 47%. It does pick up and go pretty quick. And I did change the bushes I'm using, it looks like, in size a little bit. But you can see how it gets kind of annoying. I just sit and watch this thing scroll by. It's kind of annoying. But it does give a good look at what your house is going to be and what the owner can expect. And that's what rendering is all about, is getting it to the point where people are happy. Okay, we're happy. And then take just a few more minutes, and then we'll get you guys working on what you need to work on. So again, if you need to go back in and do assignments that you've neglected to do all semester, if you will, send me an email. Don't go through Canvas. Just send me an email direct. There's a link in Canvas for that. You need to be which class it's in, ARC 1 or ARC 2, and which assignment. Be sure you're very specific about which assignments they are. I'll reopen them for you until next Thursday at noon. Okay, for those who are trying to get your grades up. All right, so my rendering is now finished here. It should be finished in my gallery as well. So I click on the gallery up here in my render gallery. It's going to take me to my Autodesk account. And looks like we're really having network problems today, so that's yay. Yeah, it's bringing up my renderings. Here we are. There's a project. And this project's not quite finished rendering here, so I got it done a little quicker. So your projects list here. You do have your gallery of things you've worked on. And these are the community galleries of what people have done. There's often inside these little tips and tricks you can look at. If you look at the gallery of everybody's new, there's resources here about how to get better renderings that you're working on. But all yours will be in the one tab. And you can look at where this is at. This might be close. Needs another 10 minutes. So this one's at a higher quality than what I just did. And so we'll come back to that in just a minute. So this rendering now is my 3D view 2 here. They close this window down. They go here, no rendering anymore, it's gone. It's just a preview rendering, okay? So if I render that again, it should go faster, but it probably won't. There's an option to save the rendering, okay? And you need to make sure you do that if you want to use it for what you're doing. Now, if you got everything done, you have time for it to render, and you want to just sit there and watch it render in class, that's fine. But if you have other things to do, use the cloud account so that you can get everything finished. Once it renders a second time, it usually goes quite a bit faster. There should be a save to project right here if you want to use the one you have. Otherwise, they're just previews, okay? So you'll get frustrated on that for sure. But I want to get one here real quick. I should have saved it. And again, you can't leave the screen while it's doing this, okay? You okay, Matt? No, what's wrong? What's going on? Is the render going? Yeah. No, they won't show the render. They're good. So go ahead to view. Just go to view. And then you go to render. Yeah, just hit the main two button. Don't worry about the cloud. The one you can see. Just cancel.
I couldn't see the other render.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Don't breathe too hard on these masks. Just suck in that fabric and choke. Choke on your mask. Okay, is that that's your grass? Let me put in your hat. The segment. Okay, let's go into. Slope. Yeah, so now you got a slope on your points and your total. So it's sloping out, that's what's happening. So you might have to redo that to your flag. Okay. All right. Okay, so click on the T button.
Yeah, but I don't have the stuff.
That's okay, you can let's see if you like what it looks like.
Yeah. we have-
Well, this one you have, if you use the teapot, you can do as many as you want. The cloud, you have a little bit of that. Yep. So you can just see if you like that view when it's all colored.
Okay, and, where's-
Okay, so let's go. Hang on, we change the draft. Let's just go to high and change this in there. And do you want a few clouds or light clouds? Or no clouds? Or very much clouds? Okay, and then you take that, and then you just hit render. And that's to give you an idea if you like how that looks, and if you don't like it, you can do the camera. Good. It's a 10 minutes to generate. Oh, it's very good. Well, it is kind of fisheye because of the way the cameras are. Yeah. But it's a big rush too. How's yours going? Kind of not getting much better today, sir. Yeah, so we got a week to make it up. I'm not getting it. Other Andrew? Okay, so this one's finished again. Okay. It's hidden away from you. Okay, now once you render it inside of your computer, if you're not using the cloud, and again, it's a choice, okay? If you're ready, you want to save it to your project, and then you can give it a name. So you can leave it like 3D View 2.1, or you can name it. So, so you know what it is. And then when you hit OK, it's going to show in your views. I can find where it went, renderings. So here's your renderings, and there's the view I just made, okay? Now, Here's the downside. My cloud just finished. Okay. So very much light washed. This is a lot of light. Okay. A lot of light. The shadows are great, but my light intensity is way too high for this. That green has got to go. It drives me nuts. But so it happens to show people things. So you would tweak things to again where they want, and you can go through your settings. Now, so you know, you can create a stereo panorama with a camera. That does take a little bit more time. Do you want to see how to do that? Panoramic view. Okay, I'm going to do a panoramic view here. This is extra, but I want to get you some. So I'm going to start it. I'm going to go back to my first floor. I've got the kitchen right here. I'm going to take a camera. I'm going to place it right in the middle. I'm going to aim it wherever. And again, you have to adjust your crop field, where your camera is located, what you're seeing. So pull that down a little bit. And then they'll render this out to the cloud as well. Now, this will be really, really dark because I don't have any lights in here. So I'm kind of rethinking my life choices. Lots of light choices here. Yeah, I'm really rethinking my life choices. View. And let's go render. So this is going to probably come back really black. So let's go. Quality. Final stage. And I do a stereo panorama on this one. So you choose it here in the settings. That takes 3 credits. Yay, I don't have 3 credits in this yet. Well, I'll do 3. This might take all my credits I have for this month, so it's okay. So that's gonna generate that process, and we'll see what that is in a few minutes, what that does. The other options you have in your cloud setting is this little guy right here, the stereo panorama. You can put that onto your phone, and if you have 3D goggles, it'll become a 3D element. If you have an Oculus, you can upload the file to your Oculus and walk through your house. So there's some technologies that are coming. They're kind of cool as we get in there. You also have just the standard panoramic view. We can switch to that. No, maybe not. I'm out of credits. So I've used up all my credits. That's what I get for doing multiple classes. You can also change how your images look. And so this will take about 10 minutes. If you did a panoramic rendering on your computer, you'd take about 2 days. Okay, so save those for the cloud. 15 minutes isn't a bad deal. All right, now let's talk about putting this image onto my sheets. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to my sheets because this is what the whole thing comes down to. I'm gonna go to A0 or did I not give you guys a title sheet? Yes, I did. I guess I didn't. Sure. If you go to like your first floor plan sheet, this is a pretty full sheet. There's not much you can show on this, but if you have, let's say, where do I want to put this now? Like your schedules, A15. Oh, it's full too. I should give you guys a title sheet. Again, we're just putting things, make it look nice as a final finishing up. Nothing stressful. We're just take your time, do what you need to do with it. On your elevations, you could put it on one of your elevation sheets. If you want your colored image there, open your sheet you want to go on, then scroll up to where your renderings are stored and just drag it onto your sheet, just like you do with your floor plans, your elevations. And then you can position that and you have your rendering colored and ready to go. So these are typical on a front, your first sheet, but this will be sufficient. Okay, so what sheets do you have due? What sheets do you need to turn in? Okay, and that's going to require a little jump into Canvas here. On one of these many windows that are flying in my face. Okay, so your final submission for all your drawings is going to be in the Architecture 2 course. There'll be one for as well in Architecture 3 for your final submissions. I haven't got the date on that yet. And what it's going to be for you is next week. So you got some time on these. Again, if you need to come in, please schedule ahead of me. They've got us in training for a lot of the days that you guys are distance learning. So just let me know if you need to come in so I can arrange that for you. Just made that today. Huh. So we're looking here. Take a minute. I forget where I put it. Huh. I don't know where I put it. I'm just gonna save it. This is an into a great class. I'm in the wrong class. That's why I can't find it. Teacher mistake. Okay, so it will show what's coming up here in just a little bit. Final set of construction documents is right here. They're due on January 8th. It's 500 points. So let's take a look at what you're needing to do here. Okay. It talks about what rooms are bidding for most of you. So these are the basic step backs and stuff we've got, most of you have already. Then there's a rubric. So you need a cover sheet. You need your basement foundation plan. So whether you're doing a crawl space or a slab on grade or basement, that sheet comes in here. You need your floor plans. You need your elevations, the cross section, the one that goes to the stair, one that shows the typical wall that we did before break, and then the electrical plan that we did just before Christmas. That's what you're gonna submit. You're submitting here only PDF files. That's the only thing it'll let you submit. It won't let you submit a JPEG or a screenshot, just the PDF, okay? So to get the PDF is pretty straightforward, okay? So you're in your sheets down here, and you don't even have to be in the sheets to do this. You go to File, okay. Select Print. So bring up a dialog box. Now, you guys, when you print your drawings, I mean in the print room there are two printers that you can use. One is the HPD J510, and the other is the 2600. Those should be on all of your computers, so you can print your pages off. And when you go to get your pages, come down into the print range, and you're gonna do selected views and sheets, and then select. It's gonna list everything, every view you've ever done. So if you've done lots of 3D views, you might have 20 or 30 of those. You need to scroll down, and you can change that so that it is just, take the views off, and so it's just the sheets. So if you have a basement, you'll have the basement plan, the first floor, maybe a second floor. Your electrical would be on your ceiling. You might have a roof plan if you've got one to show that. The roof plan is not really as much needed as the site plan. They show the same information. your elevations, your building section 1 or 2, depends on how you've done it. You might have 1, you might have 2. You might have your wall section. Your wall section might be on your building section sheet. Remember, you can combine that. That's all that's really required, okay? So then when you get ready to print, you can do save as, and it's be a set, so you can name it. That's cool. And then you can come back and you can get this. So if you need to make changes, you can just go back and get the set 1 and just print it again. You don't have to go through all this again. You hit OK. And then here, when you do your printing, you go into properties right here. And you guys are going to change, whoops, I missed one step. You're going to change the printer to the Adobe PDF. Okay, that's what you're going to submit to Canvas. Okay, so you choose one of these printers to print in there. To submit to Canvas, you print an Adobe PDF. It's going to say, okay, you're going to save them. Where are you going to save them at? You can tell it where to save them in your drive. And you just, as long as you got your set, you hit OK. It'll put them all in order as one PDF file. Okay, and it'll put them all in order in this nice little book type thing. And you just upload that to Canvas. Okay, so really kind of simple. Okay, we have much time. We got about 35 minutes of work time for today. Wednesday will be all work time. Again, those that need things opened up, send me those emails and I'll get them opened up as quick as I can. It is an individual thing, one at a time at this point. So if you have things you need open, let me know. And then kind of get working on those and get as many things you can get done. But yeah, you're just doing about 5 sheets is all you're doing. So there's things you haven't got done, focus on the ones that are required. And let me bring that back up again for you. Okay, let's show you the panoramic is rendering out right now. So this is the panoramic that's going. It's going to take it a while. It looks like it's bumped it up quite a bit. So it's adding light to it for me. So that's kind of cool. All right, and then, so again, you're looking at the cover sheet, which is could be your site plan with the rendering on it, your basement foundation, your floor plans, your elevations and sections, the electrical. So much for now. It's down to 20 minutes. Okay. All right, so let's go around and have questions. Yes. Oh, silly one. You know what? Yeah, you have to drop. So it's architecture, it's underfloor. And you're going to change this to a 4-inch concrete slab. And you're going to either do a rectangle or draw how you want. Okay. Yep. I would put that on your site plan sheet. Yeah. Your site plan, you should think that like you 1 to 10 scale or 1 to 20. So if it's there, you put the rendering on that sheet. Yeah. I'll show the view. The parking lot lines won't show where it's from. So I would just focus on the roof. Oh, yeah, look at us. Someone is voting for components. So you're going to change the photo perhaps to
short there for 30. So you flip those in the end, to the square. So raise it up like. You can put this over, reverse it. Just that way. Do the other one. Your driveway here, as long as the back of this stall. You don't have it. So you should, if you have a driveway, the driveway has to be fixed. With that gate. Go. Once steady, you. You're right there, that's all the roof here. And then make sure you want things open, be sure it's in the middle. All right, so there with the floor. These are those three, All right. So we'll go to. So 6 inches is the minimum. We can go up to that. I'm gonna jump over this. That's- And if you put up 4. Sure. That's what you would look. So now we take that. You can make some of those in the gable if you want. But do that. So on that gap, you take I would take this door up, this one down, this door. Yes. Looks like a puzzle. does. I did. Hopefully, we'll answer that. Oh, you should. So this needs to come up to 2 inches. this is, which sheet? Okay, so what it is this sheet has a skeleton. So we can change this. This. This is great. That's good. Okay. All right. So right now it's basically a school picture. So your paper here is 10 by 36. So you could do 11 here. So that's how you do that. So you go from the last. Another question, Matthew? Yeah. Trees? Everything? Oh, no, it depends on everything. Yeah, that's all right. Just take one thing at a time. That looks real good. All right, what do you want to work on? Trees? Okay. All right, so we're on the site plan, right? Nothing to do. Okay, so site plan. Okay, so where trees go. And so you have your sidewalk here. So we go to your, that's the side.
That was
Huge tree, yeah, very big tree. So this is what I use, these little guys, it's kind of small. You just kind of put them really up. And go up and don't block your road. Yeah, you can put a few in the front yard if you want. I'd go about 12 feet apart. Yeah. Because these way to fix things. It kind of bases off the line there, so it's actually follow it. So I just kind of place them first. Okay. And they can put trees in. You're just making it look nice. You don't have to get too crazy with it. We're going to modify, use the dimension. I use the center of that tree. Center of that tree. Like that. And if you go back to modify, pick one. Okay. You can see the dimensions on it. Okay. House. Okay. Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's. Okay. Sweet, okay, so you're going into irritation. You can also use the one that, okay? Yours is gonna be simple because you have very few jobs. So you do a new dimension, and I'm gonna switch your view. A little easier to see. Okay. Like this thing. Or if you have it, you'll have all the time on Thursday. It'll be enough. You're fine, just switch to do. So then we go from here to Windows. We can only do what we can do. It's a weird year. You know, we're gonna get Fridays. Got days that are taken away. You know. I don't know, I need to sit. No, it's not making brain cells. Those bad things, brain. So just go along your sticky points. And get a whole screen down at once. So, yeah. And then, so you gotta, it's the main floor that all you need to do. Yeah. You'll be done in 10 minutes. Okay. You do the cross. It's still recording. Most of it, okay. Maybe, I don't know. So there's that. I haven't listened to it, so I can take it out. No biggie, no biggie, no good openings. You ought to get perfect scores. There's the doors, when you get the doors. That's the door, house inside. Trying to be perfect. It's just. That's good. And then that whole thing is all. You know, with that, avoid that. Huh? No, you don't do it. Okay, now, what I want you to do is run one through the middle to see what it says. And you can do it really quick. Just do like this corner to here, see what that size. Do here, and do this, see it. Just a little bit. Yep. Yep. Just take it one at a time, you'll be fine. Next. Oh, there's another one. I'll be back. I'll leave the chair right there. Yes, mighty one. Grass, you have to make it. Let me go stop this recording real quick. Because I'm just recording dead air. Okay, real quick. I'm gonna stop the Zoom recording because I'm recording nothing.